Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano Program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming to you now from Harmon on Primetime, Public Health reports a pair of new coronavirus cases. Plus, there's good news tonight as another $21 million in pandemic unemployment assistance payments will be released next week. And in regional headlines, we've got the latest from our neighbors up in Saipan.
Hafare and good evening. We begin tonight with the latest COVID-19 data for the island. Public Health tested 222 individuals yesterday with conclusive results. 2 tested positive for COVID-19, 1 case tested positive at the Diagnostic Laboratory Services and reported community contact to a confirmed case. 1 case tested positive at the Guam Public Health Laboratory and was identified through community screening. To date, this brings the total COVID-19 cases on Guam to 309, with 5 deaths, 102 active cases, 202 released from isolation, and 3 were hospitalized. Outgoing Chamorro Land Trust Commission Chairperson Pika Fairwin presided over her last meeting today, but not before managing to get through a new board resolution that establishes the guiding principles of the CLTC going forward.
You can't fit this under the problem.
What those principles do is plainly state what this commission should be working on, how they should be working on it, and the checks and balances for the commission to be held accountable to those beneficiaries. And I hope if it's read and understood by our beneficiaries that the commission will, have the accountability moving into the future.
Farron suggests there were some who no longer wanted her on the board because under her leadership, she says, they've managed to correct the improprieties and administrative errors of the past, and because she was strict about the qualifications for land leases.
Having 11,000 plus acres on Guam, there's so many competing interests. Land on Guam is finite, right? That's a huge land inventory, and so of course there's going to be competing interests coming in. And like I said in the beginning, of the speech, my job has really been that of a defender, really defending the trust to make sure that every decision made protects our beneficiaries.
The resolution authored by Farron was passed unanimously by the commission. The Visitors Bureau voted today to lift the interim president and vice president titles from former Governor Carl Gutierrez and from Dr. Jerry Perez. They are now both permanently hired to the positions. Meanwhile, Gutierrez explains the latest guidance from Governor Leon Guerrero on the reopening of tourism.
She already determined what the protocol is for the high risk, and she's trying to move forward in the next week or so, or even earlier, for the low-risk protocol, because the 3 areas that we get our tourists from, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, are all low risk. And so when we decide that over the next few days that we're still good on those numbers and percentages, then we can just market that Japan is low risk if you come into Guam.
Gutierrez says the board today also discussed so-called bubble agreements with markets that are also low risk, including a reciprocity agreement with the Hawaii Tourism Authority.
Everybody knows Hawaii is a safe destination. I mean, they're doing a good job in marketing that. But if they do a protocol reciprocity with Hawaii and their islands, then that would really sell Guam in Japan as well, that we are indeed a safe place.
However, a date certain for the reopening of tourism has not yet been set. The Election Commission has federal reassurance now that it will not be a problem to mail out the primary election ballots next week, even if the primaries are canceled. GEC Director Maria Pangilinan says she spoke today with officials from the U.S. Justice Department and the Federal Election Commission to let them know the Guam legislature has 2 bills in the works to cancel the primaries in whole or in part.
They said, yes, do what you plan to do, which is send them the ballot. And if the if the primary gets changed, then all the Guam Election Commission could do is send a message to the voter and let them be aware that the primary election has been canceled and that they will receive their general election ballots, or the Guam Election Commission will send out their general election ballots 45 days before the general election.
Hearings on those bills to cancel all or parts of the primary are scheduled for Tuesday, and a legislative session to debate the measures is set for Wednesday. In other news, Republican candidate Ryan Calvo has withdrawn his candidacy. Calvo drew strong criticism for his social media posts about protesters at the Marine Bay site in Dededo, in which he compared them to terrorists. Another $21 million in pandemic unemployment assistance payments will be released early next week. That will bring the total amount of payouts to about $141 million, and that's for cleared claims and weekly certifications through June 16th. The Labor Department is also warning residents against fraudulent unemployment claims and identity theft. In a news release, Director David De La Sola says ensuring the integrity of the unemployment assistance program is a top priority of the administration. The latest information for public awareness from U.S. Labor and the FBI is available on the GDOE website. The date for opening tourism is still unknown, as we mentioned, and with hotels expected to make cuts in staff and families to undergo further economic hardships, something Adelup knows for certain is the need for a permanent unemployment program. KUAM's Adriana Cotero speaks with the governor and lieutenant governor outside of Adelup this afternoon.
Governor Lou Leon Guerrero says there are serious discussions underway with the tourism industry to determine, 1, how to bring tourists back, and 2, how to protect the community.
That is my foremost priority, is making sure that our community is protected and our community's exposure to COVID-19 is as minimal as possible. So there are some ideas and some ways that we can do that. For people that are laid off as a result of COVID, I think we have some great opportunities for some financial assistance. Of course, our pandemic unemployment benefit is now full-blown and is working. People are getting it.
While there is financial aid coming in weekly through the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance and Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation programs, this assistance is temporary. As we reported, this is Guam's first ever unemployment program that was put up in a matter of weeks from the onset of COVID-19.
I know people were out there impatient, and I just thank them for their understanding. But now that we have it, it's going to be a good program moving forward.
And moving forward, Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio says the time is now for Guam to have a permanent program in place.
I think the legislature on unemployment, we clearly know that Guam needs an unemployment program. And I think that we need to discuss with the legislature how we can have a permanent unemployment program for the island that is reliable. That's something that it's a little complicated, but I think that's something the governor and I are willing to work with the legislature to get done.
Have you started any of those communications with the legislature?
Yeah, months ago, Senator Regine Bisco-Lee, who is the oversight and chair of that committee, Senator Talina Nelson, there is some interest, and I think now that we see the experience and that we're able to get this operated, we should be now looking forward to trying to permanentize such a program. It is complicated, but I think we just need to get down and get it done.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
The latest update now from the SBA on federal disaster assistance for local companies. For the Paycheck Protection Program, as of June 30th, a total of 2,164 loans have been approved for Guam businesses, totaling a little over $197 million. Nationwide, there have been more than 4.8 million loans approved, totaling more than $521 billion. There have been a total of 1,084 economic impact disaster loans approved for local businesses, worth more than $64.2 million. Nationwide, there have been more than 2.2 million loans approved, totaling almost $135 billion. Police are now classifying the death of a 29-year-old man identified as Kunai Kiyosi as a homicide. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapao says a July 5th autopsy has determined that Kiyosi died from blunt force trauma to the head. His body was discovered back in May on Marine Corps Drive near the Wise Owl Animal Clinic in Tamuning. No further details have been released. The case remains under investigation. In court news, Judge Arthur Barcenas has signed off on the order to lift the stay in Mark Torrey Jr.'s case. Torrey was arrested back in 2015 for the fatal shooting of fellow police officer Albert Piolo. The government is trying the case for a second time with an amended indictment charging Torrey with negligent homicide and aggravated assault. As we reported earlier this year, defense counsel Jay Arriola motioned for dismissal, arguing his client's rights to a speedy trial were violated. Both the Supreme Court and the Superior Court determined otherwise. Now Torrey's case is back before Judge Barcenas this afternoon. Attorney Jay Arriola pushing for the case to go to trial as soon as possible. The government stated they are estimating trial to take about 3 weeks. Now plans are underway to meet with jurors and determine an alternative site to meet the needs for trial. A return date has yet to be set. Evan Montville Cohen is asking the court to allow him to travel to the Philippines for an urgent heart procedure. He is currently on pre-trial release to a third-party custodian. He was arrested for aggravated identity theft and wire fraud for allegedly using one of his employees' personal information to rent an apartment in Tamuning last year. The court previously granted his release because of health concerns. His attorney filed a motion seeking court approval for him to travel from July 16th to August 20th for surgery and recovery at St. Luke's Hospital in Manila. The motion states that, quote, the procedure Evan needs is urgent and will soon become an emergency situation as the medical professional believes one of his bypasses from February of this year has failed. Both the U.S. Attorney and the U.S. Probation Office have objected. The court has yet to make a ruling. And clarification today from the Attorney General on the case of former high-ranking cop Mark Charfris. In a statement, AG Levin Camacho says the Supreme Court decision released yesterday addresses only one of two adverse actions against Charfris. The former police colonel was disciplined and later fired for his actions in a Christmas Eve 2016 incident when he publicly reprimanded subordinate officers who were responding to an illegal fireworks complaint in his home village of Agate. The AG says the High Court's decision specifically addresses his demotion and not his termination. AG Camacho says the Civil Service Commission upheld GPD's decision to fire Charfris, and that matter is still pending in the Superior Court. In other news, Attorney General Camacho is joining 41 other attorneys general in urging the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs to rescind a newly implemented policy. In a letter submitted to Undersecretary for Benefits Paul Lawrence, the coalition asked the department to postpone and re-evaluate changes made to its long-standing claims review policy. In April, the VA announced plans to rescind its decades-old policy of allowing accredited veterans service organizations to review claims decisions prior to finalization. The coalition argues that the change will further delay benefits veterans have already earned. Additionally, the coalition states that the VA has provided no justification for the substantial policy change and has not allowed input from VSOs or veterans. We'll have more news right after this.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
at the mall as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment. You could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES 350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
For all those going out each day, doing what they can to hold us all together, we're here to help those helping us all by keeping our lights on.
I'm running for office because we need Washington, D.C. to know that the people of Guam are trustworthy. We need representation in which integrity is the cornerstone of service and leadership. We need leaders who not only make us proud, but are proud of us. We only have one voice in Washington to represent us as we struggle for a better life. We only have one person to fight for us in the halls of Congress. We must trust our future in one individual who must also earn our trust. I am that person, not because I'm without flaws or faults, but because integrity in service has been the cornerstone of my public service as a teacher, your congressional delegate, and as president of the university. We need to let the nation know that our one voice in Washington, D.C. is trustworthy. I'm Robert Underwood, and I approve this message.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. There's a new man in charge at Andersen. The base held a change of command ceremony yesterday, and Brigadier General Jeremy Sloan took over the 36th Wing from Brigadier General Gentry Boswell. Sloan most recently served as the commandant of the Air War College at Maxwell Air Base in Alabama. Boswell is headed to the Pentagon, where he will be the Director of Manpower, Organization, and Resources for the U.S. Air Force Deputy Chief of Staff of Manpower, Personnel, and Services. Separately, the governor confirmed yesterday that there were no positive cases from civilian contacts with the 35 Air Force service members. Those are the deployed airmen who were under review for violating restricted movement protocols by leaving their Tumon hotel and visiting various local establishments last month. 7 of them had tested positive for coronavirus, and the entire group was subsequently quarantined on base. Governor Lulian Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio held a presentation in front of Adelup showcasing the Guam Police Department's brand new patrol vehicles. They praised officers for their hard work in protecting the community during the COVID-19 crisis. GPD purchased 5 new 2020 Toyota 4Runners and 4 new 2020 Mitsubishi Outlanders. The department says they're a much-needed addition as GPD is experiencing a shortage of vehicles within its existing deteriorating fleet. Funding was secured through the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funds Program and local funds. The total cost for the vehicles was over $307,000. The governor and lieutenant governor inspected each of the cars and posed for a photo op with our men and women in blue. And yesterday afternoon, Guam Fire Department rescue units, along with Engine and Medic 10, responded to the Pagat Caves in Mangilao after a call came in from a hiker requesting assistance. According to reports, 4 hikers went into the caves when one of them became exhausted and fell ill. With the assistance of the Navy HSC-25 helicopter unit, the hiker was airlifted, treated on scene, and taken to Naval Hospital for further observation. In regional news, the CNMI's Hope Recovery Center reopened its doors this week after months of closure due to COVID-19. Tomas Manglonia reports on how the pandemic has a long-term impact on the rehabilitation program.
The Hope Recovery Center on Saipan reopened its doors this week after 3 months of closure because of COVID-19. Special Assistant for Substance Abuse, Addiction, and Rehabilitation, Yvette Sablon.
This program is really based on providing that safe environment living for individuals that's needing that higher level of support. And unfortunately, we're still the only program that provides that here in the Commonwealth.
The financial burden forcing operations to run with just 13 of their original 22 staff. They can accommodate up to 12 on-site participants, all of whom will undergo COVID-19 testing.
This program is locally funded, and there's just really no saying where, where we'll be, considering that most of the revenue is through tourism.
The uncertainty pushing her team to make adjustments amid a reported increase in substance use across the island.
There's just an outcry for services such as this.
Amid the global crisis, Sablan says she still has a lot of hope.
The important message is that we're here and we're not going to give up.
Tomas Maglotnya for KUAM News on Saipan.
Sticking with the CNMI, at a press briefing yesterday, Labor Secretary Vicky Beneventi says 3,000 more individuals have filed for pandemic unemployment assistance in the CNMI, totaling 8,000 applicants so far.
It was 4 phases, or in steps, phases 2 and 3. This logging in of paper applications and resolving online portal issues, those are the priorities right now. We have been hearing all of our applicants' complaints and concerns, and we're trying to resolve them as we speak.
Beneventi says the team is working to register more employers on the portal so they can properly verify information. Keep it here. Primetime returns right after this.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your 4th meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
Tomorrow is built on what we do today. And today, we can respond to the 2020 Census of Guam. Our responses will influence the federal support our island receives and the community programs we need for the next 10 years and beyond. Respond today over the telephone, in person at home, or at your village census center, because tomorrow is counting on us today.
That's when little mama came through still in looks. Whoa, she off the rate the scale, she had me shook. Yeah, but if you single tonight and can't find your friends, then I hope you don't mind me asking. Do you wanna dance to the music? Do you wanna rock to the beat of the drum? And we could cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. Baby, we should cut her up.
We are open to serve you at Cars Plus Guam. Need a quick service for your vehicle? Visit our express lane at Cars Plus. Done fast, done right. No appointment needed. Our service team is dedicated to helping you get your vehicle in and out of the shop and back on the road quickly and securely. Simply drop off your vehicle at our express lane driveway, and one of our service advisors will take care of it. Need a ride? Not to worry. We have a shuttle vehicle ready to drop you back home and pick you up when your vehicle is ready. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit us today. We are open to serve you.
Welcome back, everyone. Yesterday, Adriana Cotero spoke with GDOE superintendent on various topics, including a recent parent survey conducted as they prepare for the upcoming school year.
You know, John, the last time I had spoke with you, we were at the press conference and you guys were announcing the plan and also signing the resolution. So maybe in a nutshell, just for those that don't know, can you explain what the three, essentially what the plan is, and then the 3 models that are being provided and offered to parents to choose from? And additionally, what is some of the feedbacks? I know there was a parent survey that you had sent out requesting information from parents on what model they would likely want their child to follow. So are they mostly wanting to do distance learning or a hybrid of the two, or what's it looking like?
Okay, so there's three pillars to our plan, and again, it's safety, it's distance learning, and it's mental health and socio-emotional well-being. So safety comes first, and so we've been following closely the CDC guidelines and the evolving discussion about the safe opening of schools. In fact, I was on a webinar discussion this morning at 6 a.m. learning about the international experience with reopening schools. So I think we feel very well positioned in terms of our safety recommendations, face masks or face shields, face coverings, the physical distancing that we were requiring, and staggered schedules or alternate schedules, as well as on at home home learning as part of that strategy. So safety, when safety comes first, it means that we're not able to bring all of our students back to school for day-to-day instruction all at once. And so if we put safety first, then we're obviously going to have to make an adjustment to the models of learning. And that's why we've been discussing the 3 models that are out there, which is an option to go 100% online at home. It's to go 100% at home with hard copies in case you don't have a computer on the first day of school or reliable internet access. And those are things we'd like to resolve, but on day 1, you have the option of staying home and getting the home lessons that you can pick up at school and work on at home. And then the third is really a mix of in-class instruction, as well as days where you're going to be at home learning. And so that means that we're expecting a third of the students being able to come back on any one day and going in an alternating schedule so that they can get some level of classroom instruction face-to-face with the teacher, but that's still going to require them to do some of their work and their projects at home, when they're not, in the classroom. So we put that out there. When we got the first survey done, that was really an assessment of what parents cared about as part of the overall approach to reopening. Safety by far, I mean, we're talking about 90%, 95%, 98% of very strong feelings about making sure that the safety parameters are enforced and in place. So when it comes to face masks, physical distancing, frequent cleaning, frequent hand washing, that is by far the biggest concern for parents at this point. So what's good about that is that it shows that all the public, broadcasting of these safety parameters really has taken root. And so families expect that that's going to be the same case at school. So that was really important for us to know, and maybe that'll change over the year, but at this point, they want us to be safe and to assure them that we're doing what we can to mitigate any of the risks. The second issue is gathering information relative to the preferences that families have for what type of learning they want to engage in when we reopen. Now, we're not saying this is going to be for the entire year. I mean, if we could get all of our kids back in school at one time, back to normal, we would love to do so. But the option of doing that is not on the table. So we definitely don't want to go without any type of options for our students. So we, again, with the 3 models, we've asked our parents and guardians to basically fill out the model of learning registration form. Our schools have been pushing those out by email. They've been calling families to get that information. In fact, some of our staff have made home visits to those who were unable to be reached by phone. Anyone who hasn't been able to fill out that form, they ought to contact their school. They can go to our website for that contact information, but contact the school directly. So what we want to gather is how many students are going to be in that 100% online, 100% hard copy, or that alternating schedule option. And once we get that information, we can organize ourselves. So we don't have that done yet. The deadline is Friday.
That entire interview is available right now on the KUAM YouTube site. We'll be right back.
King's welcomes you back with our King's Time value menus, full of great deals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We hope to see your family soon at King's.
For the Love of Burgers is back with 6 of our most popular burgers, each for just $9.99 for a limited time at Ruby Tuesday, Guam.
Take the party home with our new Get It To Go menu. Combo specials and kids meals, pizza, wings, and more. Now available for carryout at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
And time again for our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
It's Thursday, July 9th, my friends, so we say happy birthday to Elias and Nicholas, who celebrate birthday lucky number 7 today. We love you, say Daddy, Kian, Kaya, Grandma Tina, and Papa Tony. Also, Vanessa Guerrero, happiest of birthday blessings to our rock, the biggest heart and the foundation of our family, Vanessa. We love you. Blessings today, tomorrow, and always. Say Joey, Isaiah, EJ, Elijah, and the entire family. And belated birthday wishes going out to Michael Angel Mendoza, who's born on the 8th. Happy birthday to my angel. 3 awesome members of our community and 3 birthday celebrants. Wish them all a happy birthday.
You too can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. That's our report for tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be safe out there.